And we welcome you back to Daytona International Speedway. Glad to have you with us for the final event of the 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. He's Dorsey Schrader. I'm Rick Benjamin. On pit road is Hayward Wagner for us as we get set for Prototype 1. And Dorsey, it's been a wild weekend of action. These are really, really fast and cool race cars. Unfortunately, we're one short of the championship minimum of 10. We've got 9 drivers who'll face off here.
Prototype cars primarily run Pro Series, but these guys are over here in the SCCA, and they've got a quite eclectic group of different driver styles, car styles. Only 9 of them involved in this particular event, but we'll talk about them as we go. On the pole, Jim, I can't believe this, Jim Downing, is his car number 63, which used to be his age.
Yeah, not anymore.
That was a long time ago.
Well, Jim in that category of drivers who you enjoy seeing at these events because he's been doing this at such a high level for such a long time.
Well, I've been doing it for 45 years. He was doing it before I was there, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, our Garmin Verb Fast Lap around Daytona, courtesy of Jim Downing out of Atlanta, Georgia, the Downing Atlanta machine. And P1 down into turn 1.
One thing you'll see about these cars is they are, in fact, very quick cars. I think this is his out lap. He's not up to speed yet. This is the turn 2 area. A lot of problems in this area throughout this weekend. You go up through these S's, it's flat out, and it's not as easy as it looks. Pretty hard braking for the International Horseshoe. It's the slowest corner on the track, so you get down into first or second gear, actually second mainly because you can't put any power down in first. Then hard acceleration down the longest straightaway on the infield brings you through a scary corner, the kink, left-hander, flat out in these cars, and then down to the right-hander, and this corner is tricky because it's really off camber to the outside. As you get through the middle part, the car just wants to keep going up into that grass to driver's left. Hard acceleration up here. A real important corner is the corner that leads back to the banking. You want to carry a lot of speed. It's a 180, but it's very, very flat. In fact, it falls off camber too. The banking, however, catches you once you get up onto here. And you want to go as quickly as you can because you're going to be going top speed by the car before you get to the bus stop, which is what they have named the chicane, put in years ago to help with tire wear. Tire temperature and tire wear here was excessive because the cars would be pushing 200 plus mile per hour if you didn't have to slow them up right here. This is a third gear corner, down, flick to the left, flick to the right, and then you straighten the car up, back to the right, back to the left, and you slam up onto the banking again. And again, Jim's warming the car up right now. He's not really up to speed yet. Most of these guys will choose the bottom lane. It's the shortest distance around the banking, so you can run down there. I mean, if you have to pass someone, they'll always go to the upper side to do so. But as you come off this NASCAR turn 4, you can up ahead there. The tri-oval goes from 32 degrees banking down to 17, so you got to watch it in here. You wouldn't think you'd get loose, but you can. And there's start-finish line.
167 miles an hour for Downing as he came through the tri-oval that time. This is his own built car, as is often the case with Jim Downing. The Downing Atlanta entry will be on the pole. Downstairs to Hayward.
Guys, 3 cars on this grid all qualifying in the same second, so we could see a very good race at the front of this field. A lot of times at the runoffs, it comes down to experience, and Jim Downing is the only entrant here in the 2015 runoffs to have run the runoffs before here in Daytona. We'll see if that pays off.
Why am I not surprised?
That was in 1969. I mean, so if he can even remember that far back, he's doing better than me.
I was thinking about this, and having seen Jim over the years in so many places and so many different cars. My first experience at the runoffs in the 90s, we were on Speed Vision back then. Jim was a regular competitor, raced in American Le Mans with his own prototype, raced at Le Mans and all sorts of places around the world.
He's an engineer by trade. I mean, the guy has done it all. He built his own race car. He used to call it the kudzu. Kudzu, of course, is that creeping vine down in Atlanta that can surround anything. It was brought into the country by his grandfather, introduced to the Atlanta area for soil erosion. It's done quite well. Jim has built that. He's also the co-designer, founder of Hans Device. And with Hans Device now, every form of racing in the world is probably mandated to use that or some similar product. They've got the patent on it. He's done quite well, and good for him.
Absolutely the case. There's Downing on the pole in his traditional, as you said, Dors, 63 used to be his age. He just said, I'm going to leave it at 63 a while ago.
More than 10 years ago.
I'm
63 now.
Let's put it that way.
And I think I was 18 when it was 63.
So Downing will start on the pole in the 63 car. Giancarlo Ciancimino will line up alongside in the 99. He's from Coral Springs, Florida. That's the GC&G Services. That's a store chassis powered by a Suzuki. Jason Miller starts third from Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin, in the 8 car. That's the Kohler Millennium Hoosier Tire Windfirst Kohler-powered machine. And James Davenport from Modesto, California, starts outside row 2 in the 23. He'll start fourth, the Cranbrook Group Norma, that is powered by a Honda K20. Starting fifth, third row inside, Kirk Kinstaffer from Eaton, Colorado, in the 32, and that is the Rilitech Speeds RS11. Miles Jackson from Maple Valley, Washington, starts sixth in the 52. The Jackson Dean Construction Wolf Suzuki. Starting seventh, the 09, Bob Wayless from Reidsville, North Carolina, the Viper Store. And then starting eighth in the 147, John Guyan from Darien, Illinois, the Guicor International Store. Starting ninth on the field, the 16 of Gary Peck from Cherry Valley, Illinois, the Last Roofing and Siding Gutter Helmet Store. So 9 cars in Prototype 1, and as we mentioned, pretty fast race cars.
Oh, yeah. Interesting story in third place back there. The number 8 car is Jason Miller. That's got that Kohler engine. Look at it right there. You see all those exhaust pipes? That's a 2-cycle modular engine that they built for racing. His father has been running that for years. So you see there's 6 pipes. There's 6 one-cylinder modular engines all married together to a common crankshaft. They're 2-cycle. It runs a lot of RPM. And they've been running that configuration for a long time. You can just keep bolting them together and making the bigger displacement.
One blows, you can take one off and put a new one on.
Actually, everything can, the crankshaft bolts to the next cylinder. The next cylinder bolts to the next cylinder. You put another exhaust pipe on, put another carburetor on, a fuel injection, down the road you go.
Wow.
6-cylinder in that particular case.
Very cool.
And it makes power.
I bet it does. All right, so we'll keep an eye on Jason Miller then, and from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, in the Kohler Windfirst chassis Kohler-powered car. There it is. Heading up onto the bank.
Looks like a Gatling gun.
Yeah, it's and again, we talked about this, so kind of alluded to this. All these drivers, team owners, entrants, unlike pro racing where you see big haulers and lots of engineers and all, a lot of this is these are kind of shade tree engineers in a lot of cases, guys with an idea.
I know I've been here for 4 going on 5, and like I said, Jim has always been there.
Yeah, absolutely true.
And at his age, to be able to do what he's about to do is quite amazing. My hat's off to him. No
Absolutely.
doubt about it.
And we joked a little about John Heinrichs earlier this weekend. How many times? Again, a guy that goes back way before my first attendance at one of these things in the early, mid '90s. But you see Heinrichs winning races today.
It's like Elliott Forbes Robinson, same thing. He stayed out there forever. They don't even sweat; they're dried up. There's nothing left.
I'll tell EFR you said that.
I did
it
in a pro race. He's still mad at me about it too.
All right, safety car about to hit in. Final race of the weekend, these 2015 SCCA National Championship runoffs. Been an honor to be here with you all weekend long. Alongside my pal Dorsey Schrader, I'm Rick Benjamin. Hayward Wagner on pit road has done a fantastic job this weekend in his second outing with us on Runoffs television here at SCCA.com. Here we go. Downing brings him to the line. Alongside Downing, Ciancimino in the 99, and we're racing in Prototype 1, 3 wide at the back of the field.
Should be a good race. Only 5/10, half second, and Jim Downing loses the lead into turn 1.
Wow. Ciancimino gets around him on the outside.
Only a half a second difference on the qualifying run, so we'll see how it, we talked about this all weekend too. Here at Daytona, with the drafting capabilities of these cars, a half a second is nothing. It could be, you can't look at qualifying and say that guy's going to run away with something.
Yeah. So Downing there second. Miller in that Kohler-powered modular engine machine that Dorsey was talking about a moment ago in third. Ciancimino has kind of waved goodbye here in the infield.
And that could be just a matter of Jim wanting to get the car under him some more, being more conservative on the tires, coming up to temperature and pressure. We'll know as the race goes forward.
Kirk Kinsfatter in the 32, making a move as well. Started in 5th position, trying to get around Davenport there. There's Downing in 2nd.
Pass for 3rd right there.
Miller gives up a spot. Yeah, the 32 on the move. That's Kinsfatter, I believe, up to 3rd spot now.
Let's see who's got straightaway speed. Miller, here he comes. That 2-cycle engine, I told you, that modular engine makes some power.
Drives
the outside. Easily right around the outside. Oh, could be trouble. No, it is trouble. Our second place car has had
Kinsfatter in the 32, I believe, has got an issue. He's dropped down below the yellow line.
That did look too easy, didn't it? I mean, it was
off the pace there into the bus stop, but it does not appear to be on full power.
Or he got stuck in a gear and is not shifting anymore, or something like that.
Could be.
In the meantime,
yes, this is Ciancimino in the 99 car. took off from the outside pole
Man,
and has
did he
built
take
a
off.
big lead.
Yeah, this is not just one. Well, here comes Downing. We'll see how that works. Jim, like I say, he's in his 70s, probably on the latter part thereof, and he probably has chosen to take an easy first lap. I know I would.
Yeah. Ciancimino there in the 99 car. Second spot belongs to Downing. Downing's cars traditionally carry a little green on them, and no surprise here. The 63 does have that green and orange paint scheme that we've always associated with Jim Downing.
He's a great guy. I mean, what an influence in road racing in the United States of America. Here's our car on.
There is Kirk Kinspatter, the 32, dropping out on lap number 1, coming to pit road.
Something.
We're taking a look at that machine. Not sure what it is. The 99 of Ciancimino.
Well, he just chucked
running up front.
Corner.
Yeah. He's not afraid to throw it in there, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's got a lot of understeer and he's trying to get through it, or that's how it just drives. I don't know.
Downing in the 63.
Miller's still back there in third. Downing with a little wiggle.
Yeah. Look at where he's got that wing laid down. You know, that's not the normal wing position on that.
Now they're trying to get these cars as slick as they can make them, for sure.
Jason Miller back to third in the 8. It's that Kohler engine machine that Dorsey was speaking of, with the modular layout of the motor. Tim Day in the 81 moving up to fourth now.
Pretty ingenious. That whole car has been around for a long time. His father raced SCCA national championships for, God, I'd hate to think how many years. Won a lot of them, quite a lot of them.
Onto the banking. Goes into third.
It's distinctive because of the exhaust. They've got those expansion chambers where the exhaust gets wide and then it narrows down at the end like a little pea shooter. And there's so many of them all, all together.
The tri-oval Miller.
They've always called
a store chassis that's been modified.
Well, it used to be the Win First Lola when they used to run Lola chassis. Now it's probably Win First Store, STAOHR. That's a 6-cylinder version of that modular engine. He could run it in D Sports racing with a 4-cylinder version by taking 2 of those cylinders off of there. Still the same basic motor. Each one of those, boy, is it loose.
Yeah.
That's power, though. I
was going to say, with the weight these cars carry, you get a lot of torque probably in something like that.
Oh, that puts out power. There's no doubt. They've had over the years they've been running that same configuration forever. They've had reliability problems. They've had, power problems and trying to get the power not to be peaky. They have never given up on it. That engine's been their baby all along.
Downing second, Miller third. Ciancimino is your leader by 1.2 seconds as we work lap number 3 of P1, the national championship run here, part of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs 2015 here at Daytona Beach International Speedway.
2-cycle engines are primarily, they're usually very peaky. They make a lot of power at a very narrow band of power, within a short RPM range. One thing that changes that is these expansion chambers, the exhaust design of a 2-cycle.
Trouble.
Big spin.
The fourth place
and that's
car
a wreck.
Off hard and into the soft wall, fortunately, into the tire barrier.
Who did he go in there?
That would be Tim Day Jr. in the 81. Looked like, when you see something like that, like the car just snapped around on him.
That looked almost mechanical. You're right.
Yeah.
I know that's where you're going with that. It's that was a snap spin. Tires did their job. Watch it here. Boy, what's it?
Like when he tried to maybe hit the brake or downshift something. Well, you wouldn't have downshifted.
Luckily, it squared itself
like
up before it hit. It went directly in backwards, absorbed a lot of energy on the tires and with the wing in the back of the body. Now, we've seen him leave a car there before and not go to full course caution because it is kind of out of the way. But we'll see, driver conditions are the first concern here.
Looked as though Day was moving around okay in the car, so we don't think there's a problem there. Hopefully not. Downing here with his hands full. Miller challenging for second spot.
I like the way it went in square backwards. That's probably the safest area on these cars. You don't want to go in with your feet forward, and you definitely don't want to go in sideways, take a lateral impact.
He did hit the tire barrier, though, so and the good news is Daytona has done a lot of work here. If you follow NASCAR racing, you certainly are aware that they have gone at it hard here in the last couple
trouble
of years.
For Miller.
Miller's car with a
I
little
saw the
death
smoke. You see the smoke?
Yeah, sure did. Out the exhaust. One of those Kohler cylinders didn't like it.
That's what I said. There's been reliability issues on that car. He came off that corner, big puff of smoke, and it was instantly off the road he goes.
Ciancimino, meantime, waving goodbye to the field here in Prototype 1.
Boy, he is.
Downing will be all alone in second spot. That will move James Davenport up to third in the 23. The Honda-powered machine as we work lap number 4 of 14 here at Daytona International Speedway. Let's step away for a moment. We'll come right back with more of our final race of the 2015 National Championship SCCA Runoffs here at Daytona.
The 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Garmin Verb, is being brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, driving matters.
16 wide eyes. Driver's license took 2 tries. Bought a Roadster secondhand. Playing parties with the band. Loaded up, off to state. Hijinks, tailgates, starter, midsize. Family cruising. Now in the garage, something new reminds you of when you were you.
It's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You wish the freeway on-ramp was your personal racetrack. Well, buckle up, buddy, because the Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and events across the country, the SCCA has all the excitement you can handle. Dance the blacktop two-step with SCCA Solo. Get down and dirty with SCCA Rallycross. Or go wheel-to-wheel with SCCA Club Racing. Hit the track with the SCCA, where America's best drivers race.
Back live, Daytona International Speedway, the SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Garmin Verb. Final race of these 2015 Runoffs. Alongside Dorsey Schrader, I'm Rick Benjamin, Hayward Wagner with our coverage on pit road. Again, our thanks to our entire crew here on Speedcast TV, producer Clark Cameron and our whole bunch. It's been a lot of fun to be with these folks once again here this year. We hope you have enjoyed our coverage, which will live on in archive form. You'll be able to access individual race telecasts for quite some time to come here as we get into the winter months here in 2015-16. There's Jason Miller's Kohler-powered machine, the Wind First Kohler. Engine problems putting him out, unfortunately.
Sure looked like that. You know, he just got on the power in the middle of the corner, and it just bunch of plume of smoke come out, and then it lost power instantaneously, and off the road he pulled the car, which, like I say, that car does make a tremendous amount of horsepower, but it is prone to have issues.
Yeah. Now we'll see here if Ciancimino can drive away again. Downing will have another shot at it. There's Miller talking to one of the safety workers. Downing will restart second. Downing was the pole qualifier here, but Ciancimino on the outside pole just jumped around him at the drop of the green and pretty much has waved goodbye to the field here.
It wasn't a huge split in time between the two either on the front row. It was like 4/10, a little bit over 4/10 of a second, so it was close. But certainly once the green flag dropped, Downing's car dropped back considerably.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens now. I mean, we've run off, 5 of the 14 laps gone, and we probably will finish up 2 more laps before we get back to green.
It's going to take them a while here to get the car of Tim Day up on that rollback.
He went in pretty hard backwards, so it wouldn't surprise me if the rear suspension's damaged. Obviously, the wing and the back structure is, but that was the safest way for him to hit. There's no doubt. Plus, he hit that tire wall. It absorbed a lot of energy.
Yeah. Again, I started to talk about this earlier, but if you're a NASCAR fan at all and you follow that branch of the sport, you know that there's been a lot of work done here at Daytona on this super stretch to put safer barriers in as far down as you see here. Now, the tire barriers added, great idea, certainly for road racing here. Been some bad crashes there on the backside of the racetrack. Of course, Kyle Busch was injured here in a crash through the tri-oval back in February, and Daytona, part of Daytona Rising, saying, look, we're going to go ahead and put safer barriers in some of these other places where no one ever thought a car could get to. Just when you say that can't possibly happen, something will happen, and you'll end up with a car where you never thought it could go, and you've got somebody hurt, and nobody wants that in this sport.
It's one thing I've learned a long time ago is that if you can see it, you can hit it.
Field under caution.
Third place car there you're looking at. Fourth. Actually, do you see the colors on that?
Yeah, the 52.
And it looks very much like the old Wolf Formula One car.
Yeah.
You know, that's how those were painted. Well, guess what that is?
That's a Wolf?
That is a Wolf.
Wow.
It's a hill climb car that's built, and they brought over here from Italy. And that is exactly the paint scheme you would have seen on Jody Schechter's Wolf back in the day.
Indeed, as we watch that car circulate in 5th position, that is the car of is that Miles Jackson in the 52. He's moved up to 4th spot right now. So Miles Jackson in the 52, and then Wolf Chassis up to 4th position. Let's get an update from pit road downstairs to Hayward.
Guys, I just spoke with a couple of crews here on the pit wall. The car that's off in the bus stop, the crew telling me that was just a driver error. Got 2 wheels off in the dirt midway through and hooked the car around on that. The Kohler car was an engine issue, as you guys predicted. I asked Jim Downing's crew if this caution helped him. They kind of shrugged and said, Jim's not a young guy. It takes a couple laps to get up and going in the morning.
That's kind of what I figured.
Yeah, you got to remember, these guys haven't been on track for 3 solid days, so it will take a couple of laps for some of them to get back in comfort zone, get back to their grooves.
Yeah.
You know Jim, because you've known him
Sure.
as long as I have for quite a long time, and he's about as laid back anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But when he's like in his upper 70s, then the laid back takes a new element.
Well, you don't want to expend energy needlessly if you're planning to drive a race car at Daytona.
That's it.
You know. I mean, let's face it. Let's have our priorities in order.
He'll get up to speed when he feels
when he's
like
ready
it.
to.
Yeah, and not a minute before.
Well, this would be a good time probably with coming up 6 laps complete next time by here, and still under full course yellow.
Yeah, it's amazing that he can do this. I mean, these cars generate a lot of G-force.
Oh, they do.
You know, and you're at a high downforce area at racetrack, so that even adds more G-force than what you would do normally.
And we joke about it, but you know, I
got beat up terrible here last year. I'm not afraid to say it either. I mean, it took its toll on me.
It's not, you know, it's not blade smooth around here. I mean, let's face it, especially not in the infield section. You can see the ripples in some parts of the racetrack.
I was black and blue from top to bottom after that 24-hour race, so I know even though this is 40 minutes, it's harder than you think.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And you know, often we kid about this quite a bit, but this is a day's work if you're young and in shape. If
Absolutely.
You're older, you know, at 62, I can say this, not in the shape I was when I was 25 or 30, it would be a day's work to drive one of these cars for 50 miles. There's the 23 car. That is a Norma chassis car. And producer Clark Camburn telling us that is running a CN series in Europe, which is an endurance series, Norma chassis car. So
they get these chassis over here, and you know, it fits the class, and so you pick an engine, or maybe you have an affiliation with a certain type of engine.
That car does carry a Honda K20. That's Jim Davenport out of California in that Norma chassis car. And take a look at that race car. I'm not sure how old that car is. I didn't get a chance to get by.
Most of these aren't old.
But that particular car looks a lot like what we used to have in American Le Mans. I'm talking about 10 years ago in
these were all like P2 cars.
Yeah,
pretty much what these cars are. He takes a tear off and gets rid of it. So
and of course, Downing ran a P2 car for a long time. Now the single-seater versions of these that you see, the Norma chassis car, they're nominally a 2-seater, but you see these single-seaters like the first couple of cars here. They look like a prototype Lights IMSA car quite a bit.
They're probably. The Stork chassis were D Sports racers for a while, and that car came out and it was so darn fast, very light. And but you're right about one thing: you can take anything like a P2 car or any of these other versions from Europe and make it fit this class. P2 becoming a pretty popular class for the longest time.
Yeah.
They were built so light that they were very unreliable from the standpoint of things breaking. To make it as light as it needed to be competitive, the parts just wouldn't hold up under a pummeling.
Sure. Field behind the safety car here. Lights are still on. Does not look as though we'll be ready to go green quite yet. We'll check here as the field rolls down the super stretch at Daytona and heads for the bus stop. We'll get an update visually here on where they are loading up Tim Day's machine and bringing that car back to a safe area.
Like seeing that Wolf paint scheme again. That, you know, black and gold was it was such a good color back in the day, you know, with Mario Andretti's Lotus, and all the Lotuses were black and gold with the gold leaf, you know, players colors, and then
gold leaf Team Lotus. There you go. Yeah,
that's the color I grew up with. I mean, I grew up with my race cars being black and gold all along.
Sure.
So I like it.
It's cool to see some of those paint schemes come back into
It is. The retro thing is selling very well on the street and on the racetrack as well.
All right, safety car looks as though it has its lights out. We should be going back to green. It'll be halfway this time by. This will be lap number 7 going up on the board. Ciancimino out in front. Downing, Davenport, Miles Jackson, Bob Wheelis in the 09. Your top 5. Safety car is headed in. Race in the hands of the leader, Ciancimino, and Downing.
James Davenport popped out, but he got back in line before the green came out, so no penalty. But he was thinking about it.
3 wide in the back of the field. Ciancimino, Downing, and then Davenport in the 23 car, your top three. 52, and Downing off the pace on the outside.
Got out wide, got in the marbles, couldn't get the car to turn. Davenport bounced on it. Now he's 2 wheels off on the driver's right.
Jim Downing gives up several spots. He seems to be off the pace just a bit going down through the infield section. Your car wiggling.
Yeah, he's got the tires full of clag from being out there, and he hasn't got them scrubbed off yet.
Wow.
Keep that car out of control, and he's going to lose another position. So.
And when you're like that, it's like driving with 4 flats.
Sure.
I mean, and Jim's
you're not sure what's wrong. You can't tell what's wrong.
Yeah, Jim's not happy about it at all right now, so he's gonna play to the cautious side and try to get the car back under him.
Ciancimino taking advantage, driving off into an even bigger lead already. Downing falls out of second. Davenport moves up in that red and black car. Third spot belongs to the 52 of Jackson, then Wheelis and Peck, and then Downing should slot in at that point.
Davenport had a go at Downing before the green even came out, had to give it back, go back behind him, so he was ready to go. Downing, I think, on the other hand, might not have scrubbed his tires enough. I think they were too cold, and he had 0 grip.
The 52 car. Running in third, that's Jackson. And Wheelis in the 09. There's your second place car. Jim Davenport.
That's a bit optimistic and really way too early to try to do a pass attempt.
To turn in there. You wouldn't think that would be the line you'd want.
That was not going to work even if he'd gotten there.
Downing back up to speed, it appears, but he's given up second spot. There's the car of Jackson, the 52, the Wolf chassis machine. In second spot in the 23.
Walter Wolf, who built those cars, that's a licensed version of the car, so it's not an infringement by any means. Maybe they'll get back into production again.
Downing at the back of the field now. There's the 09, Bob Wheelis. Take a look here. Your second place runner is Davenport. Miles Jackson in third.
I see some of Walter Wolf's ex-Formula One cars in vintage racing, and they always look good. Jody Scheckter, of course, winning a championship.
Bob Wheelis there in the 09. That's the car with the yellow fenders in the rear of the car. Wheelis in fourth. Downing slotting in fifth, according to the running order we have. I think he may have given up another spot or two there. Wheelis and Downing in top 5. Miles Jackson running third.
Very nimble cars, these. They're really, really a lot of ground effects on the car. They got underneath tunnels that suck them down to the ground pretty good. Diffusers at the back.
Yeah, high technology in these cars.
Absolutely.
Cars. Love seeing them run. There's the 32. Back on the racetrack, that's Kirk Kinspader, who had stopped on pit road earlier. He has given up a lap to the rest of the field, but they didn't get him back.
I think he probably was stuck in a gear the way it just fell off pace all of a sudden.
And Jim Downing falling in at the back of the field, still on the lead lap, though, being scored in fifth in front of the 32 and the 16.
Don't know if these are paddle shift cars or not, but a lot of times with paddle shift cars, they'll get stuck between 2 gears or they'll get hung up.
The linkage sometimes isn't your friend.
The air shifter, well, you know, they're tricky.
No change up front. Ciancimino in the 99 continuing to lead, working lap number 10. 9 complete. 7.5 seconds back to Davenport in second. There's the third place car of Jackson. Davenport here in the red and black machine. There's Jackson in the gold and black 52 car, your third place car. Downing being scored fourth now. 12 seconds back. So Gary Peck in the 16, Bob Wheelis in the 09 having problems. The 32 of Kinspader had problems before. So this is going to be a battle of attrition, and we may be looking at a similar situation. We've seen this earlier in the weekend. There's the 23 of Davenport.
The car looks good.
It does look good. The Ciancimino has been in a class by himself here since the drop of the green. 7.5 seconds to the good, but you never count these things as being over until the checkered flag is in the air, because your day can get ruined here with 100 yards to go.
He only had a 1/10 of a second in qualifying on third place, so it's not like you know, you would think he'd be able to run away from the field based on qualifying anyway.
Working lap number 10. There'll be 4 to go this time by.
Nobody told him that. That's the deal.
Lessons learned. Sometimes they're expensive lessons indeed. Second, third, and fourth. Downing, second and third at any rate. Downing is fourth. He is about 3 seconds back of this group of cars. There's your runner-up machine. Davenport out of California in the 23. Ciancimino all by himself. Here he is on the front side.
Way out in the
lap
lead.
number 10 on the board.
4 to go.
Ciancimino just needs to keep it clean and stay up on the good part of the racetrack out of Coral Springs, Florida.
He's 3 seconds faster than anybody. He just ran a lap speed in the trap at 165.5 miles per hour by himself with no draft. So you can pretty much kiss him goodbye. There is, however, Jim Downing's car that ran 175 miles per hour in the trap at some point during this early part of this race, lap 2 actually.
Ciancimino's car, a store chassis with the Suzuki motorcycle engine, talked about earlier, and he is nice and smooth and clean in that 99.
Oh, a little slide right there, but he gathers it up. They make a lot of side lateral grip, even though he's sliding it around quite a bit.
And that raised nose, interesting arrow on the front of this car. But Ciancimino doing a great job wheeling that car.
Yeah, he's on it for sure. Lightweight.
Oh yeah. Best lap of the day for Ciancimino, a 149.7, ran a 152 last time by, 150 and 2/10, so not far off his best lap time. He's been very consistent here. Working lap number 11, he'll have 3 to go next time by as he heads to the bus stop.
Seeing guys taking tear-offs and getting rid. Ooh, he's in trouble across the grass.
Ciancimino.
He just had taken a tear off.
Oh, man.
He just reached up and took a tear off, or tried to get a tear off of his helmet. I'm not sure if he got it off or if he didn't get it off, but he might have a visibility problem. I don't know who could be leaking oil. There's nobody in front of him. But I did see him try to grab his helmet and get rid of a visor.
Could be a bug.
It could be a bug. You're absolutely right.
A lot of things can happen.
There's
an
big bugs in Florida.
Oh, yes, there are. Here's what happened to get into the bus stop. He wiggled there into the grass, managed to keep it straight.
Did a good job. He actually drove it into the grass to avoid the spin.
So Ciancimino continuing to motor in the lead.
And it didn't. Oh, he's in trouble here again on the brake. Driving really hard with the amount of lead that he has. There's no need for him to push the issue.
See what the lead is over Jim Davenport to 9.7 seconds. So even that trip through the grass only cost him a tenth of his lead, a tenth of a second of his lead.
I guess he's just having fun. Now, he is wailing on the car right now. To watch his hands inside the cockpit, there's a lot of activity going on, and nobody can catch him with 2 laps to go.
There's your second place car of Davenport. We take a look at the 99.
Well,
he's wiggling again.
You know what? It looks awfully slippery.
Yeah.
These cars have a fair amount of grip, and they are sliding all over the place.
And trouble for the 09 again. That's the machine of Bob Willis. He's been in trouble earlier. He spins here.
But with all this gyrations going on between all the top cars, I'm starting to think now we probably got a really oily track.
Could be.
From
Final
somebody.
race of the weekend certainly could be the case. There's the 23 of Davenport.
And these cars don't slide around that much normally.
Yeah.
But they sure are now.
2 laps to go next time by for Ciancimino, but I'm starting to wonder here, Dorsey Schrader, if he can close the deal because, you've got a 10-second lead in a very fast race car. I would think, as you would say, you'd want to be nice and tidy with it.
And he's been loose 2 times. He took 2 slides last lap. We'll see how he gets down through here this time.
Davenport clearly without the speed of Ciancimino, but Davenport has not put a wheel wrong in that Honda-powered machine.
And I'm wondering why or who is putting all this oil down there, if it's oil at all. I mean, it shows that the racetrack's pretty slippery right now.
Through the banking of turns 3 and 4 of the oval here at Daytona International Speedway. Jim Davenport running second in prototype 1.
Car doesn't look as good as it did before. I don't know if the balance is off or if he's having trouble with something.
Davenport down into the first turn here.
Doesn't look like it has the speed that it had before.
No, he's about second, about 1.8 seconds.
He's losing ground, a lot of ground right now.
Off the pace.
I think he's mechanically hindered. I really do.
Davenport in the 23. Or Ciancimino, the leader.
Yes, Ciancimino, I think, has got a problem too. Unless the racetrack just is all of a sudden giving up a lot of grip for whatever reason. There we go.
Ciancimino out in front here in the 99 car.
He's good.
Built the lead back up to 11 seconds last time by.
He's still skating. I mean, the track has just lost its grip.
Late in the day, late in the weekend here at Daytona International Speedway. A lot of race cars, 600 of them here this weekend in 24 categories. This is the final event of these 2015 SCCA National Championship runoffs.
That car looks good now. But I mean, you don't normally see these guys skating around like that on a normal surface.
Ciancimino into the bus stop here.
Yeah,
see, problems earlier. Sideways again.
Yeah, he's twitching all over the place.
I'll tell you what, if he ends up not winning this thing, if he has somebody on the radio who has not told him to back out of it,
yeah, he should have been.
That's a major mistake.
I don't know if he's trying to continue driving that hard to keep his rhythm, to keep his, keep himself sharp. But man, I mean, he is skating that car all over the racetrack, and he doesn't need to.
White flag this time by. White flag is in the air for Gianpaolo Ciancimino, your leader.
And not a moment too soon, I should say.
Final time around the 3.5-mile road course layout here at Daytona International Speedway. A long way back to your runner-up.
Yeah, he's got nobody to race against. This car, I think, is hurt speed-wise. I don't think he's anywhere near as fast as he was before. Let's see what kind of
Ciancimino knocked off a lap of a $1:49 and 8, and Davenport down to a 1:52.7.
Yeah, look at it. I mean, he is absolutely broad-sliding that car all the way through that corner. Full opposite lock. Having fun, no doubt.
Well, yeah. But he wants to bring home more than just the steering wheel today. He wants to bring home a gold medal as well, and I don't know.
I've seen people crash like that on the last lap before.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We've seen it here this weekend in these SCCA National Championship runoffs.
Half a lap to go, he should be okay. But boy, look at his hands on that wheel. I mean, he is sawing away in there.
Yeah, he's busy. He has his elbows up for no discernible reason. Ciancimino onto the high backs.
Might have an invisible ghost behind him. I don't know. He's trying hard. Car sounds great.
Final time around Daytona International Speedway here for the 2015 SCCA National Championship runoffs.
Getting his money's worth out of it.
Absolutely. This will not count as a true national championship race, unfortunately. Only 9 cars answering the call. I take that back. We did get 10 starters out there. Now, my qualifying sheet had 9, but we do have 10 cars, so this will count as a national championship event, so I take that back.
Somebody popped in there.
Yeah. We did have one late addition to the grid here, so we do have 10 cars, and Ciancimino will win a gold medal for his efforts here at Daytona. He is able to keep that car on the racetrack one final time and come home the winner of P1 here at the 2015 SCCA National Championship runoffs.
Yep, Davenport held him off.
Jim Davenport finishes second in the 23 car. Miles Jackson comes home third. He had his hands full there.
Yes, he did.
Jim Downing comes home scored in fourth. Gary Peck fifth. Bob Wheelis is sixth. Kinsfader is seventh. Jason Miller with the engine failure is eighth.
Oh, he broke a rear wing. That could be what's wrong. Look at that upper wing. It's bent down and it's flopping around,
yes,
too.
It has. Yes, it has been. That could be part of the reason why we were seeing Ciancimino sideways a good bit of the time in the last few laps.
I think he did. I think he had an upper wing element broke there. That's why he's all skating all over the place.
Jason Miller, John Guyan, and Tim Day rounding out your order. Yeah, look at that. Looks like a brace probably snapped in the middle there. It's flexing.
That's exactly what was going on. I bet he's wondering what happened.
Yeah.
He won't have known. He'll know it was slippery as can be, but he'll blame the racetrack probably. That wing failed.
Ciancimino applauding after winning P1.
Well, we wondered why would you be driving it that crazy, that hard? Well,
Yeah.
there's your reason right there.
Exactly so.
He was hanging on for dear life.
So we will talk to Gianpaolo here in just a moment. Congratulate him on his national championship victory. 10 cars did answer the call, so this will count as a national championship event. Davenport and Jackson will fill out the podium. Jim Downing ends up in 4th position. I'm sure disappointed that things didn't go better off that restart. Downing had some sort of problem and had to get out of the gas for more than half a lap there and wasn't able to recover.
He'll probably still be happy. I don't think
seeing the checkered flag is a victory.
I don't think you can phase that man anymore.
No, probably not. So an outstanding run to the victory. Outside pole starter Gianpaolo Ciancimino takes home the honors here today in Prototype 1 at Daytona in the 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs presented by Garmin Verb. It's certainly been an honor to be part of this again this year. Certainly have enjoyed the weekend of racing here at Daytona International Speedway. We look forward to next season when the Runoffs will return to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. That 2.2-mile layout, which is one of the legendary facilities in North American road racing and a great host for these runoffs over the years. So
I have actually broken a wing twice in my career, once in Formula B and once in GTO, and in both cases had no clue what happened, other than something was
it doesn't drive the way it did before, right?
Why am I flying through the field now? I didn't want that.
Wait a minute, this end of the car is supposed to go first through this corner, not second.
So that explains quite a lot about all his shenanigans in the last 2-3 laps.
It did seem like he was just crazy loose there and driving harder than we would have expected he would have with the big lead. He ended up winning by 16.75 seconds. So
and he won't know, I guarantee you. When Hayward goes down there, I bet he can ask him. He can ask him about or tell him that his wing's broken. He won't know it.
Yeah, probably not.
No, I mean you can't really see it that cleverly from looking out the windows. There's Jason Miller, unfortunately, had the engine failure.
Agony of defeat right there. That's a good agony of defeat shot.
It's an interesting concept, the way that thing works. It's pretty neat if you see it, ever get to look at it out of the chassis.
Very much so. And, one of the things we love about racing is the innovations that various drivers, designers, car builders, engineers will bring to the party. Not necessarily technology that's been developed at the cost of millions of dollars, just a person with a good idea that they're able to execute. All right, let's get the thoughts of our winner. Downstairs to Hayward.
Down here with our winner on pit road. It looked like you just were not going to give up. You were going to have fun out there no matter what, driving the wheels off that car.
There's no way I was giving this race away for anything, man. We worked too hard all year.
Dorsey and Rick in the booth really noticing that the car was kind of skating around. You were dirt tracking it through corners. Was that just making sure you stayed on your rhythm, or were you just having fun with the car?
We didn't have the setup exactly the way I liked it. And after the restart, it got real slick. And I was just trying to be consistent and not, keep my speed up without running off the road. But, yeah, I guess it was kind of on purpose.
Well, it looked like a whole lot of fun. Congratulations to you on your national championship here at Daytona.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to step.
You need to go back there and wiggle that wing and show it to him, because it's not hooked on anything. That upper wing will just wiggle like crazy.
Hayward Wagner on pit road all weekend long for us, has done a fantastic job down there. We really appreciate his efforts. He will make his way back to the 2nd and 3rd place finishers. As the safety car heads back behind the wall for the final time, there's the 16 car. Gary Peck's 5th place finisher being pushed through the break in the wall. And back to Hayward.
Miles Jackson, they say the happiest guy is in 3rd. The winner's too elated. The 2nd place guy could have won. The 3rd place guy is just thrilled to be on the podium. How are you feeling?
I'm thrilled to be on the podium. It's a great day. The first real race for this car, and it's just couldn't ask for it to work any better.
What's it like to bring a prototype car here to Daytona?
It's very interesting. The high banking's not so bad, but turn 1 is you got to go in deep and aggressive, and I think that's what helped me in this race was going deep and aggressive in turn 1.
Congratulations, coming from a 6th place qualifying position to end up on the podium. We've got one more driver we need to find, and that is James Davenport. James, 2nd spot on the podium. How you feel?
Well, with the issues we've had this week, we feel pretty good about 2nd. It's been a tough week for us. We rolled off the trailer with some minor electrical problems that took a couple of days to sort out. Never really got a good setup on the car. We kept trying things. Finally, we just had to go with the best gut and put on the car and go out and race. So with the mechanical issues we got other cars, we came through and we're very pleased with 2nd. Last year we were third. Next year we want to be first at Mid-Ohio. This car should shine at a track like Mid-Ohio. It's the first time on the high banks for us here. And we learned a lot and underestimated the challenge of getting speed out of the car on the aero. So,
well, you found enough speed for a second spot podium finish here at the Runoffs. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Thoughts of our top 3 finishers in P1 here in the 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Our winner, Gianpaolo Ciancimino, carrying the checkered flag around the 3.5-mile layout here at Daytona, the infield road course, and smiling all the way with that checkered flag. And that's one of the highlights of doing this if you win one of these Runoffs events.
That's a great lap to take that checkered flag. If you can pile your crew in there, it's even better for them. You know, they get to do it too. But what a way to finish up a weekend. It's been a great weekend here, safe all throughout the entire event. Daytona and the Runoffs, well, they're a match made in heaven. I really enjoyed it here.
Absolutely the case. Showed you the top 10, the top runners there. Ciancimino, Davenport, and Jackson the top 3. Downing fourth, then Gary Peck and Bob Wheelis about a lap down. Kirk Kinsfader another lap down. Jason Miller, John Guyan, and Tim Day failing to see the checkered flag today. A wild one in Prototype 1. Jim Downing into turn 1 as the pole sitter there in the 63. But Ciancimino went around him on the outside. Downing struggled. Nearly had a problem here. Tim Day Jr. backwards under the tire barrier, but he was okay. Jason Miller was a top 3 car in the 8. That Kohler engine car had an engine problem, knocking him out. Leader almost threw it away late in the going through the bus stop here, went through the grass, but was able to recover and come home with his national championship win. Gianpaolo Ciancimino to wrap things up today here at Daytona. Dorsey, always a treat, my friend.
You as well, Rick. It's a long time. I've worked with Greg Creamer, and great to be back here at the Runoffs. I missed last year, so this has been a really, really fun experience.
No question about it. All right, for Dorsey Schrader, Haywood Wagner, I'm Rick Benjamin. We congratulate our P1 national champion, Gianpaolo Ciancimino, and there is more to come from Daytona International Speedway.